guys, it's the Drabble Geek here, and welcome back to Ace Attorney. Now, we are going to be playing the final session of Turnabout Goodbyes, and so far we need to somehow get Miles Edgeworth to not plead guilty in any way, and somehow put this all on Von Karma, because we found out he's an utter douchebag, because Miles's dad messed with one of his defenses because he's a crap lawyer, in my opinion. So now we just need to figure out how we can say that Karma is our killer, or the person responsible for the killing. This is it, Judgment Day. Today, things are going to get settled at last. A lot of things. What? What's the big idea? Sorry, Nick. I only touched your shoulder. Oh, they're still electric. I guess the shock hasn't worn off from my run-in with the stun gun yesterday. Anyhow, today's the last day of the trial. Good luck, Nick. Yeah, thanks, Maya. Is she no longer allowed inside still? Edgeworth is looking glum as always. I hope Von Karma doesn't push him too hard. Whoa. What are you doing? Sorry, I'm sorry. I just thought I'd cheer you up with a pat on the back. Maya, maybe you should go outside and discharge. Right, good idea. Try not to electrocute anyone on your way out. How'd she get in? Ooh, yeah, pal. What? Yeah, we should have known that was going to happen. What's gotten into that girl? Detective Gumshoe. Morning, Mr. Edgeworth. Good morning. How did it go, Detective? Have no fear. As promised, I've captured our runaway caretaker. And just brought him in. Took all night, pal. Thanks, Detective Gumshoe. You must be tired. Actually, after that shock I got on the way in, I feel pretty good. Yogi says he's forgotten his own name. But that has to be a lie. Why would he want revenge on Edgeworth if he couldn't remember his past? He does remember, and I'm going to prove it. I mean, I guess he would have to keep up the facade of being crazy in order for... I don't know if in Japan they have double jeopardy, but it would make sense if he had to keep up the facade. That he was, like, capacitated from oxygen deprivation. It kind of makes sense to me, but Court is now in session for the trial of Miles Edgeworth. The defense is ready, Your Honor. The prosecution is ready. Right, very well. You have reached the final day of our proceedings in this trial. I ask that the prosecution submit decisive evidence. Understood. He's actually surprised that he's responding. Come on, don't be awed into silence by every little thing he says. Very well, Mr. Von Karma, your opening statement. Right. Thanks to Detective Gumshoe's efforts, the boat rental shop caretaker has been arrested. In yesterday's trial, the defense asserted that the caretaker was the murderer. However, the caretaker has yet to confirm this. What do you mean they have to confirm? I just have to prove it's not Edgeworth. I would like to ask the defense to cross-examine him as much as necessary. Very well. I'm hoping that Von Karma hasn't had a chance to talk with Yogi. Please bring the witness into the courtroom. Is he still asleep? Ladies and gentlemen of the court, I believe you all remember our witness. He lives in the boat rental shop on the lake from where he witnessed the incident. In addition, he's currently lost his memory of his name and identity. Witness, why did you run away yesterday? The witness was not running away, as he will now testify. I see. Very well, please begin your testimony. He has gotten a chance to talk to him. Crap. Whenever Von Karma has a chance to talk to someone, it always goes downhill. Why I left court. I'm really sorry about just leaving yesterday like I did. But I wasn't running away or nothing. I, went to buy some food for Polly, see? Figured I got nothing to do with this incident anyhow. I mean, I need one of those motive things, right? And I don't got one. So my testimony yesterday stands as is. Very well. Let's begin the cross-examination. My hold it finger is ready. He has to know his name. Yanni Yogi. You're Yanni Yogi, I'm going to prove it. I don't know how you're going to do that yet, Phoenix. I'm really sorry about leaving yesterday like I did, but I wasn't running away or anything. Then why did you leave? He's just about to say why. It's so hard for you to quietly listen when someone is talking. I'm just going to press everything. Food? Well, Polly is a bit of a gourmand, you see. She only eats these high-quality food pellets from France. They only have them in the big pet shop downtown. But you weren't arrested until this morning. Why didn't you go back to the caretaker's shack? Well, I kind of got lost, you see. The witness has trouble remembering things sometimes. Then how is he supposed to be remembering this murder if he couldn't remember how to get home from downtown? When the police apprehended him, he was on his way back to the shack. I see. So he was lost. Really? You can't just say that your witnesses' facilities are pretty much in order and then be like, oh yeah, he just forgot. That makes no sense. I figured I got nothing to do with this incident anyhow. Why do you say that? You've lost much of your memory, is that correct? Yep, seems like it. Then how could you know you didn't have anything to do with this incident? Or maybe you're lying about not having your memory, You know exactly who you are. The witness has testified quite clearly that he has no memory of who he is. If you claim he's lying, then show the court proof. How am I supposed to prove what's going on in that old cougar's head? That's impossible. I'm glad you've come to your senses, Mr. Wright. Very well, witness, please continue. I think unless Polly said his name, I don't think we could really prove it. How can you say you had no motive? I say you do. You had a grudge against Edward and the victim, Robert Hammond. That's why you took revenge on them, right? Please don't make me repeat myself, Mr. Wright. This witness has no memory of anything beyond several years ago. You can't hold a grudge, it's impossible. Might I say something, Mr. Wright? Yes, Your Honor. You've been saying the same thing now over and over. You've been calling the witness's memory of the past or lack thereof into question. But does this really have anything to do with the current case? Of course, Your Honor. The witness has said he has nothing to do with this case and no motive. Both of these statements are lies. Order. Mr. Wright, there's a serious problem with your claim. Or are you saying you know who this witness is? Of course, Your Honor. Now, this is interesting. I would like to know myself, so who is he? Don't play dumb, Von Karma. Mr. Wright, please tell us this witness's name. Yanni Yogi. His name is Yanni Yogi, a former court bailiff. Yogi? That name seems familiar. Oh, Yanni Yogi from the DL6 incident. I figures the judge would have heard of it. It was such a famous case. But what does this mean? Your Honor, if this man is Mr. Yagi, then he has a clear motive. Tisk, tisk, tisk. Jumping to conclusions again, Mr. Wright. This man, this witness, is Yanni Yagi? Fascinating. However, how do you propose to prove this to the court? This is a court of law, as you may recall. You need proof. And allow me to repeat once more that the witness has lost his memory. This is it. I have to do this now. If I can't prove he's Yagi right here, right now, then I got nowhere else to go. Nick, how are you going to prove it? How can you prove that he is Yanni Yagi? It's okay. It's actually quite simple. Your Honor, please take this man's fingerprints. Then we'll compare them to the fingerprints on file for Yanni Yagi 15 years ago. I see. That makes sense. Tisk, tisk, tisk. Did you steal those too? Huh? I'm so very, very sorry, Mr. Wright. Why? The witness has no fingerprints. And then how are you not supposed to be sketchy? Wait, what? No fingerprints. You see, before I worked as a caretaker, I worked at a chemical plant. I burned my fingers working with the stuff. Yep. What? But somehow you remember working at the chemical plant. You burned your fingerprints off to hide your past, which explains why there was nothing on the gun when Edgeworth went to pick it up. Well, if the witness has no fingerprints, I guess we'll not be able to prove his identity. What about DNA? Tisk, tisk, tisk. Well, what will you do, Mr. Wright? It seems that the case has been decided, no? No. I know what happened. I know everything. I just can't prove it. But no, I can't let it end like this. I can't lose. There has to be another way. There is no one who can testify as to who this witness is. No one. Nick, what are we going to do? I didn't even consider that he might have erased his fingerprints. What do I do? Tisk, tisk, tisk. Well, Mr. Wright, perhaps you like to cross-examine his parrot for a little comic relief, Actually, I would. The parrot might give us loads of stuff. I would like to cross-examine the parrot, actually. Yeah, very funny. You're a sore winner, Von Karma. Wait a second. Cross-examine his parrot? What is it, Nick? No, you're not going to. Your Honor, the defense would like to take Mr. Von Karma up on his proposal. Take Mr. Von Karma up on my proposal? Exactly, Your Honor. I would like to cross-examine the witness's pet parrot. Order. Well, what do you think, Mr. Von Karma? Need you even ask? This is a farce. I object. Wait a second. You were the one who suggested I cross-examine the parrot, Von Karma. I have a right to do as you suggested. Well, if you're so desperate, then please be my guest. Finally, a witness he hasn't talked to. Of course, should you go through with this, and nothing comes of it, I hope you're ready for the consequences. Nick, this is crazy. Well, still want to go through with your little game? Yeah. Let the parrot take the stand. I will cross-examine her, Your Honor. This is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. Von Karma's ripped every person's testimony, every piece of evidence, except the parrot. She's my last chance. At least, I think so. Maybe if he read it out loud, the letter that Von Karma has? Maybe. Bailiff, bring in the parrot. Oh, she's such a pretty girl. That's quite a bird. Please tell us your name. Name. The witness is ignoring me. Must hurt to be ignored by a bird. Ahem. Very well, witness. Who is your owner? please testify for us? Hello, hello, Squawk. Certainly the most concise testimony we've heard so far. Very well, begin your cross-examination, right? What are you going to do, Nick? I don't know. What do we do, Maya? Question the bird, dum-dums. Witness, you can't just say hello. I want you to testify. Maya, you talk to her, right? What do I say? Have we forgotten something? As I recall 2 days ago. Polly, have we forgotten something? Squawk, don't forget DL6, Squawk. It can get Polly to say that here. That will prove that the caretaker has something to do with DL6. Polly, have we forgotten something? Hello, Squawk. That's not what you're supposed to say. Forgot something we forgot. Hello, Squawk. Is that the same bird? Uh-oh, it's not working, Nick. She won't say it. This is ridiculous. Why won't she say it? Tisk, tisk, tisk. Something the matter, Mr. Wright? Wait. Don't tell me Von Karma expected this. He couldn't have retrained the parrot, could he? Did he train her not to respond when we asked if we'd forgotten anything? Can I get... Frankly, I can't believe... Guess we should... Yeah, we need to show the judge... Can I only do this and, like, every time ask Maya to talk? What's your name? Polly, what's your name? Polly, Squawk? Mr. Wright, I think we've established that this parrot is named Polly. Does this have anything to do with our owner's identity? No, I'm just... Well, I guess... please only ask questions. Very well. I guess I have to ask her what the safe combination is. Maybe we'll get her to say the number of that safe. Huh? The safe? Why? Let's just try to get her to say anything, okay? Polly, what was the number to the safe in the shack? 1228. 1228. My, what a reckless parrot. Well, Mr. Wright, you aren't claiming that this number has something to do with the caretaker. Save. I mean, technically, yes, because that's where the letter came from. Actually, it does. That's why I had her say it. Ha, ridiculous. How can the number to a safe tell us who the caretaker is? Show us your proof. What could possibly link that number to the caretaker's true identity? Uh-oh. Wait, 1228. Is that today's date? One, two, two, 8. Yep. Present this. The DL6 case file. What is this obsession you have with that case? Mr. Wright, where in this file is something related to the safe number? The case summary. It's on the case summary page. The case summary? specifically the date on which the DL6 incident occurred. The date of the incident, December 28. That's today's date, 15 years ago, and the number on that safe is 1228. Ah, he used the date of the DL6 incident as the number for his safe, Your Honor. That's how important that date was to him. I see. Certainly is an interesting coincidence. People often do set secret numbers to dates. Bah, this is not tangible proof. I set my ATM number to 0001 because I'm number 1. Why would you say that out loud? This has nothing to do with the date. Nothing. Indeed. Alone, it is a little weak for evidence in a murder trial. We would need some other corroborating evidence. Where am I going to find that? Nick, we're getting closer. One more, if we can just get one more piece of evidence. Right, but what? Very well, witness. You may continue. Sir... Answers to the name Polly... Present? No. I'm like, is there anything with the name Polly on it? Trapped. The weapon was Polly. After his arrest, fiancée Polly Jenkins committed suicide. So there was someone named Polly. So let me ask her name again. There we go. It's pressing W instead of Q. Let's get where Maya's talking to her. What is your name? Maybe we should get her to say her name. Polly, Polly, what's your name? Polly? Polly? Squawk, Mr. Wright. I think we've established that this parrot is named Polly. Does this have anything to do with her owner's identity? Of course. Yes, it does. Ha, fascinating. You claim the parrot's name will prove her owner's identity? Then show us this proof. Nick, don't you think you're taking a bluffing a little too far? Listen, we're not here to answer the question of who is the caretaker. We're here to prove that he is Yanni Yagi. All we have to do is tie the name Polly to Yagi. Your Honor, the proof that the parrot's name reveals the caretaker's identity is... DL6 file. The DL6 case file? That's quite a large file you have there. Which page is this proof on, then? Show us or stop wasting our time. Very well. Mr. Wright, please show us the page. Where in this file is that information connected to the parrot's name? Suspect data. So on the suspect data page. This page has all the information about Yanni Yagi. Right after he was arrested, his fiancée committed suicide, see? Indeed it does say that, yes. What was his fiancée's name? Polly Jenkins. Polly. Exactly, Your Honor. He wanted to remember the name of his fiancée who had committed suicide. That's why he named his parrot after her. I see. I guess that is possible. But a mere coincidence, that's all. You wouldn't just randomly name a pet after a fiancé. That's not a coincidence. Had it been. I guess if it was someone else, I guess. Technically. My granddaughter has a dog she calls Phoenix, but she doesn't know you. Well, Mr. Phoenix Wright, does that make you my granddaughter's fiancé? He unfortunately makes a good point. She's only 7 years old. That's enough. I think we've reached a conclusion here. This is a mere coincidence, that's all. True, that is a possibility. However, two coincidences at the same time seems more like a pattern to me. What are you saying? Summon the caretaker of the boat shop immediately. I'm so happy I checked the DL6 incident for the name Polly. Tell us your name. Wait. This witness, he doesn't remember. No, it's okay. I've accomplished what I wanted to do. I'm done. Nick, he looks totally different. Yeah, I was about to say, like, the character drawing's super different. This is the real Yagi, I think. Finally. He's been acting feeble to hide his true identity. Acting for 15 years. Well, let me ask you again. Please state your name for the court. My name is Yanni Yagi. 15 years ago, I served as a bailiff in this very court. Order, order. Yanni Yagi. So, who was it? Was it you who killed Robert Hammond and tried to frame Miles Edgeworth for his death? Yes, it was me. I did it. They put me on the witness stand 15 years ago. Robert Hammond, he said I was mentally unsound. He told me it would make me innocent, get me off the hook, so I pretended to have brain damage. I was innocent, really, but he didn't believe me. We won the trial, but I lost everything. I lost my job, my fiancé, my social standing. Then this year, 15 years later, a package arrived. It was a letter and a pistol. The plan was written out in careful detail. It was a plan for me to take my revenge on the people who ruined my life. I didn't care who had sent it. I thought this was my chance. After 15 years, this was it. Finally, a chance to have my revenge on Robert Hammond and Miles Edgeworth. I have no regrets. Wait a moment. Revenge against Miles Edgeworth? What do you mean? I'm not at liberty to speak on that matter. Why don't you ask Mr. Edgeworth yourself? Anyway, I admit it. I was the one who killed Robert Hammond. So are we calling it a day or no? Von Karma? Where's Mr. Yogi? Under arrest, Your Honor. I saw no room for error in his confession. Then, the defendant Miles Edgeworth is innocent. In this case, at least. Very well. Would the defendant please take the stand? Is he about to testify now? There's a few mysteries left unsolved. Still, you are cleared of suspicion for this particular case. So I like to pass judgment on the murder of Mr. Robert Hammond. Any objections? I don't believe it. Why isn't Von Karma saying anything? Very well. This court finds the defendant, Mr. Miles Edgeworth, not guilty. I actually had less trouble with that case than previous. That is all. This course is adjourned. So once again, he really... Did someone just say objection? It wasn't Von Karma. Wait, but that means... No. Really? You were scot-free, Edgeworth. Your Honor, I object to your judgment. What do you mean? I'm not innocent at all. As we have heard, Yanni Yagi killed Robert Hammond in revenge, but revenge for what? Nick, Edgeworth is trying to confess. He's going to say he's guilty. He's going to tell them he was the murderer in the DL6 incident. He's going to tell them he killed his own dad. Uh-oh, what do I do? Raise an objection. The judgment has already been passed. I object to Edgeworth's outburst. Didn't something like this happen yesterday too? I believe a certain witness raised an objection after a guilty verdict was passed. That would be Larry. We must hear this new statement. We must hear Miles Edgeworth. He is right. We have a duty to hear Mr. Edgeworth out. Dude. For 15 years, I've had a reoccurring dream. A nightmare. It's only a nightmare. That's what I told myself. But now I know it wasn't a dream. Yanni Yagi wasn't the killer. You mean in the incident where your father died? From the distance of the shot, it wasn't suicide either. Everything was as clear as day. The murderer, the criminal in the DL6 incident. It was me, Your Honor. I confess my guilt. I am guilty for DL6, the statute of limitations of which ends today. Culprit is me. You were a child. Order. This is certainly unexpected. The defendant, Claire Innocent, is confessing to a different crime. A crime for which the statute of limitations ran out today. I'm not really sure how we should deal with this. Bah. It's obvious. We hold a trial, right here, right now. We try this man for his crime of 15 years ago. He was a child. I think I would like to take a 5-minute recess. During this time, I will consider the appropriate course of action to take. Court is adjourned. Oh my gosh. I spoke too soon when I said that this was one of the easiest trials I had to go through. I'm sorry, right? I just wasted all of your effort. Mr. Edgeworth, I just don't believe it, sir. I mean, you kill your dad? I didn't want to believe it myself, detective, but it's the truth. I deserve to be punished. Murder is murder, no matter what the circumstances. This is crazy, just crazy. Nick, what are you doing? Huh? Oh. I was just reading through the court record once more. I'm getting my case ready. Your case? For what? Huh? Isn't it obvious? I'm going to prove that Miles Edgeworth is innocent. What are you talking about, pal? He just admitted to it. He confessed that he did it in court. I'm sorry, Edgeworth, but I don't believe your nightmare. Yeah, it's very easy to mess up your memory. Basic psychology, dude. What? It's just a dream. It's not real. The truth is right here in this court record. In any case, tighten your belts. The real fight is just beginning. I'll prove you're innocent. Trust me. Right? Does that have to do with, like, the bullet we found? Now then, I would like to resume our trial. Judge, Miles Edgeworth has admitted his own guilt. He has confessed his crime. Let us begin by hearing his testimony. Though pointless, let the defense do their cross-examining. The statute of limitations on the DL6 incident runs out today. Though it's unconventional for me, I like to run this one by the book. I see. Does the defense have any objections? No, Your Honor. Bon Karma, you knew this was going to happen from the very beginning, didn't you? Yep, he totally did. Very well. His revenge is against Edgeworth. Be it the son, but against Edgeworth. Will Miles Edgeworth take the stand? Will the witness state his name and profession? Miles Edgeworth. I am a prosecuting attorney. Mr. Edgeworth, 15 years ago you mistakenly killed your father, Gregory Edgeworth. Mistakenly. There we go. End of the case. Is that correct? It is correct. Then testify about this matter to the court. When Edgeworth was telling me about his dream yesterday, I noticed something. One detail didn't quite fit. That will be the key, but only if I can get it to work. It's been a couple of days since I've played this case. I don't remember what that missing key would be. That day, I'd gone to the courtroom to observe one of my father's trials. Oh, I think I remember something that I might have said. I don't know why. Like, throwing the gun should not have caused it to go off. Like, from a child just throwing it. Something had to happen to the gun, like the safety being released, or like a bullet being in a chamber when it really shouldn't. And considering we have that bullet from the case file, I think that gun is going to be the main thing. That day, I'd gone to the courtroom to observe one of my father's trials. As he went to leave, an earthquake struck, trapping us in the elevator. My father and Mr. Yogi lost their composure and began to argue. Just then, something heavy fell at my feet. I picked it up and threw it at Mr. Yogi. I wanted them to stop fighting. A moment later, there was a single gunshot, then a scream. It was a terrible scream. I remember it to this day. And that's all. He still should be innocent. It was, one, he was a child. Two, he was trying in self-defense. Well, not defense, but he was a child trying to save his father from being murdered. And until now, you thought this memory was a dream? We were stuck in that elevator for 5 hours. The oxygen in the elevator ran out, and I lost my memory of the events. Bah, the same claim Mr. Yogi has made. Very well. Mr. Wright, your cross-examination, please. Yes, Your Honor. I'm not gonna question why he went to court. I don't think anything's gonna come of that. So we went to leave. My father lost their composure. How? What did you do then? I was 9 years old, a 9-year-old boy at the time. What could I do? I was scared, trembling in the corner, but then, just then, something heavy fell at my feet. I picked it up and threw it. It wasn't necessarily a gun. What was it? A pistol. I assume it was the bailiff, Yanni Yagi's. The safety must have come off when it fell from its holster. Darn. And you picked it up, and what happened next? Picked it up and threw it at Mr. Yagi. I wanted them to stop fighting. Did you know it was a pistol when you threw it? I think I knew. I think it was dangerous, but the air was getting so thick I panicked. So you're saying that you threw the pistol at Mr. Yagi? I was in a daze. A moment later, there was a single gunshot, then a scream. It was a terrible scream, and I remember it to this day. The one gunshot. That is not right. Oxygen. The murder weapon was fired twice. There wasn't a single gunshot. I went out. I thought I was like questioning, I guess. Present. Are you sure you only heard one gunshot? Yes, I'm sure of that. I heard the shot and the scream, then everything faded. I was unconscious until the rescuers came. I see. No, Your Honor, unfortunately you don't. Look at this file one more time. This plainly contradicts the witness's testimony. You do enjoy dragging out that file, don't you? I don't accept this evidence, unless you can tell us what page it was on. The second one. Which page contradicts the wild victim data? Look at the victim data in this file. It says it quite plainly. The murder weapon was fired twice. Miles Edgeworth only heard one gunshot, yet the murder weapon was fired twice. The first shot was the accidental firing when the pistol was thrown. So, who fired the remaining shot? Was there perhaps another shooter that fired that second shot? Your Honor, as I'm sure you're aware, this incident occurred 15 years ago. The evidence is dated. The pistol did fire twice. However, we do not know when that second shot was fired. It might have been fired the day before the incident. There's no proof that the second shot had anything to do with this incident. What? I see. You do have a point, Mr. Wright. The murder weapon was fired twice, as we have heard. One of those shots was fired by the defendant, a boy at the time. Do you have any proof that the other shot fired had something to do with this case? Mm, Still clears. We can check the gun, I suppose. I'm gonna save real quick. I think I know, but I'm not sure I know. So I'm gonna do this real quick. Yes. Your Honor, I think I'll be able to show you proof. What? Impossible. Now, Mr. Von Karma, save your surprise for after you've seen the evidence. Very well, Mr. Wright, show us your proof. Do you have evidence that the second firing of this pistol is related to this incident? The one thing we were able to get from the file that he couldn't steal. Mr. Wright, please think how we feel about having to look at this evidence time and time again. Every time you show us ridiculous evidence, I feel well mocked. Haha. I mean, I really don't mean any harm by it. Not mean any harm and not doing any harm are two different things. Try again. Do you have evidence that the second... Could I prove that... Could I say that that, like, hole in the glass is it? I'm going to try. Next, maybe. Fire twice. No. Literally the only thing I can think of is this picture. Look at this photograph. This is a photograph of the scene of the crime 15 years ago. I can see that the victim lying there is Gregory Edgeworth. This proves the murder weapon was fired twice at the time of the incident. This photo proves it. So let me get this straight. This photo proves 2 shots were fired where? Get a clue. Should be obvious. The contradiction is here. I see. Bullet hole in the door. Your Honor, Gregory Edgeworth was killed by a shot from the pistol. Yet there's also a bullet hole in the elevator door. We also know that the murder weapon was fired twice. Thus, someone other than Edgeworth fired that second shot. Order. Order. Mr. Wright, what are you driving at? It's simple, Your Honor. At the time of the incident, 2 shots were fired. One went into Gregory Edgeworth's heart, the other hit the elevator door. Remember that the defendant lost consciousness after the shot he fired rang out. In conclusion, we must agree that the second shot was fired by someone else. Mr. Wright, but who else could it be? Yanni Yagi, the murderer, of course. I knew I should have stepped in before your wild fantasies got out of hand. Mr. Wright, look once more at the DL6 incident case file. Look closely. Try the case summary page. The case summary, that's on page 1. Look what's written there. Not a single clue was found on the scene. If the pistol had indeed been fired 2 times, then the other bullet would have been discovered on the scene. He does have a point. That second bullet has never been found. Why? Because the second bullet does not exist. The bullet that claimed Gregory Edgeworth's life was the one fired by his own son. That is the truth of this matter, the whole truth. It was undoubtedly something else that made that bullet hole in the door. Like what? Order. I will have order. Mr. Wright has proven one thing to us quite clearly, that the murder weapon was fired twice at the time of the incident. However, as Mr. Von Karma says, the second bullet fired was not found. It is highly unlikely that the police overlooked the second bullet. I mean, if it was shot out of the elevator, that would make sense. So all we have is the single bullet fired. I'm afraid I have to discount the defense's claim. Tisk, tisk, tisk. I praise the judge for his wisdom in this matter. How did this happen? I don't believe that the second bullet didn't exist. Was I wrong? Have I been wrong about this whole incident? No. What are you doing, Nick? Why aren't you raising an objection? I'm sorry, Maya. What? It looks like I was wrong. Nick. If the second bullet wasn't there, then my conjectures are for nothing. No. But you said you'd do it, Nick. You said you'd get Edgeworth declared innocent. I'm sorry. It's just, when I saw the photograph, I thought the 2 shots had been fired. I was certain of it. I thought I'd won. I thought there was another person, someone else who fired the killing shot. But now, I was wrong to think it could be that simple. This case has stood unsolved for 15 years. Nick. Well, it seems that we have finally cleared up this incident. Only 1 bullet was found in the scene of the crime. That shot was fired by Miles Edgeworth, precisely. I would like to ask one thing of Miles Edgeworth before passing my verdict. Have you been paying attention to the trial so far? I hope so. Yes, Your Honor. Do you have any objections? No. No, I do not. So you killed your father, though that was not your intention? Yes, I did. Oh no. He's accepted the guilt. Very well. The statute of limitations for the murder of Gregory Edgeworth runs out today. Therefore, I must pronounce a verdict on the defendant today, right here. Right now. Indeed. Does anyone have any objections? I've been here before. It's just like my first day in court. There are so many things I know I should be saying, but my mind's gone blank. I can't find the words. Mr. Wright? We're gonna save it again. Like, I can't let Edgeworth take the fall for this. And I do have enough. Your Honor. I object. Tisk, tisk, tisk. Mr. Wright, on what grounds do you object? Oof, Nick. I don't know. His case is perfect. Oh no. Grah. It must exist. The second bullet. What? What did you just say? Nothing. The second bullet must exist, but where? Someone took it. Seems waiting is not going to produce us any answers from Mr. Wright. Wait, Your Honor. The second bullet, it existed. What? We've just heard proof that it did not exist. I realize that, Your Honor. I'm really grasping here. It's just someone took it from the scene of the crime. That's what happened. But who? The murderer. The murderer? Then tell us, who is this murderer? Still thinking about that one. Yanni Yagi. So the criminal... Wait. Could have happened from outside, right? So the criminal took the second bullet, but why, huh? First of all, how would they have found it? It's not easy to find a stray bullet, Mr. Wright. Was there some pressing need for the murderer to find it? It only makes sense if they have to find it. Of course there was a need. That's why they took it. Bah, what possible reason could they have had? Well, the reason the murderer took the bullet away from the scene with them is the bullet would be proof. Or maybe they thought the bullet would be used as proof. Proof? It was a special bullet, so they took it with them. If that was the case, then they should have taken the bullet from inside of Gregory as well. Huh? Why would they only take one of the 2 shots fired? Oh, right, because it was inside of him. Mr. Wright, have you really thought this through? I'm going to have to penalize you. This isn't going. Was there some pressing need? I'm like, why did... I'm gonna try the other option. I'm not sure. Well, the reason the murderer took the bullet was the murderer was cautious. That's why the murderer had to search for that bullet. Yeah. Time to go back. So he didn't need the bullet. So they... Okay, so like their defense is that they didn't need murder. They needed the bullet, but he would have, well, he should have taken the bullet from inside of Greg. I can't really figure out a reason why someone would have taken it if not to prove that there was only one shot. Hopefully there's a... It's not easy to find. Was there some pressing need for the murderer to search for that bullet? Why would the murderer have spent the time to look for a stray bullet? I haven't got a clue. What's wrong, Mr. Wright? The murderer had no reason to take that bullet. You don't want to admit it, but it's true. Had to take it. Had to take it. The murderer, what does that mean? You're thinking too normal. Think crazy. Don't think why the bullet was taken. Think why the bullet had to be taken. To prove there was only one shot, right? Mr. Wright? Yes, Your Honor? I have no idea what I'm doing. Well, the murderer had no intention of taking the bullet from the scene, but, the murderer had to take that bullet. Had to, Mr. Wright? What do you mean? Well, for instance, maybe the bullet, hit the murderer. The bullet hit the murderer? Just saying, for instance. I mean, if it hit you, you would have had to take it with you, wouldn't you? It's not like you could perform surgery right there, aka the reason why he couldn't get it out of the heart. Okay, there we go. Okay, that makes sense now that you've said something, Phoenix. You know? Wait a second. I was talking off the top of my head, but what if that's really what happened? Let me get this straight. So at the time of the murderer themselves was shot, and they left with the second bullet still inside of them, thus leaving only one bullet at the scene of the crime? Yes. I guess that's how it would work, yes. But there's a problem with that. The other two people rescued from the elevator, Miles Edgeworth and Yanni Yagi, were both unharmed. So that would mean the murderer came from outside, yes. AKA the shot went through the glass from the outside, not the inside. Two men fight inside the elevator. Trying to stop them, the boy picks up the pistol at his feet and throws it. Pistol discharges and the bullet goes through the elevator door and hits the murderer outside. The boy loses consciousness. Then the murderer opens the elevator door and sees the men inside. Mr. Wright, you are truly the most unpredictable defense attorney I've ever known. I can tell you're grasping, yet I cannot deny the possibility of what you say. What are you saying? Deny it, deny it. No one involved with the incident was wounded. Although maybe you were, Von Karma. There was no murderer. No one was wounded at the time of the incident. He's right. Can't think of anyone. Hey, Nick. Huh? I just thought of something really crazy. Crazy? Remember what Mr. Grossberg said yesterday? Gregory Edgeworth dealt a blow to his perfect trial record. Wow. It must have been quite a shock for Von Karma. He took a vacation for several months after that. He wasn't taking a vacation, he was recuperating from his gunshot wound. Yes, an unusual event for the man. That was the first and the last vacation he's taken in his many years of prosecuting. What if Von Karma didn't take the vacation because of shock, but took it because he was injured, which would mean, it could only mean one thing. He was the murderer in the DL6 incident. He was the man who shot Gregory Edgeworth. It was Von Karma. Oh man. Something wrong, Mr. Wright, you seem dazed. No, Your Honor. Well, you have indicated the possibility that the murderer came from outside. Can you give us the name of your suspect? Uh-oh, should I come out and say it now? Just say it now. Your Honor, there is a suspect, one lone suspect. Well, this is certainly interesting news. Very well, Mr. Wright. Who is your suspect? My hands are shaking. But what? Von Karma. Von Karma? You mean the Von Karma, the prosecutor, the one standing right over there? Bah. You don't object? I see no need. Why honor this ridiculous outburst with my objection? Because you took a vacation for several months starting the day after the incident, yet you pride yourself on a perfect record. Why would you take such a long vacation without any reason? So you're claiming that I took a vacation to heal from my injury from the incident? Fascinating. Prove it. I would have needed surgery, no? Where did I undergo the knife at, Mr. Wright? Bring the doctor that operated on me. Have him testify. Nick, let's find out who his doctor is. It's no use. Edgeworth? I know Von Karma, perhaps too well. He's perfect. He wouldn't leave clues. Probably didn't undergo surgery. That would leave a doctor as a witness. Nobody's that perfect, so what, Nick? Did Von Karma pull the bullet out by himself? That's insane. No, he couldn't have. You can't just pull bullets out of yourself. Unless he left it in there. Does that mean that bullet has to be somewhere, but where? Inside of him. Tisk, tisk, tisk. Well, Mr. Wright, can you produce evidence that I was shot? Isn't Von Karma the evidence? I'm gonna try it. Alright, Von Karma, I'll prove it, and I'll even use evidence. I know how you like it so much. What? The evidence that proves Von Karma was shot is... Can I use the metal detector? I kinda wanna use the metal detector to see if it's still in there. I'm gonna try it. Von Karma's perfect. He wouldn't risk surgery, leaving an evidence trail. So then I asked, where's the bullet now? I think it unlikely that Von Karma performed surgery on himself. You don't mean... I do. There is the possibility that the bullet is still inside Von Karma. Is that even possible for all these years? Well, there's one way to find out. We could use this metal detector. Well, Von Karma, going to run this over you and see what we find. I refuse. You refuse. But refusing this means you acknowledge that the bullet is still inside you? Order, order, order. Your Honor, the defense requests that we be allowed to use the metal detector. Judge, I call for a suspension of this trial. This is an invasion of privacy. The statute of limitations runs out on this case today. It was you who said we had to end this right here, right now. Enough. I permit the use of the metal detector. Mr. Von Karma, you will submit yourself to testing. Nick, what does this mean? I don't know, but we have to give it a shot. And it goes off. It reacted. Something's inside his right shoulder. A bullet. Mr. Von Karma? You? It was you? I was afraid this would happen, and so I remained silent. Indeed, there is a bullet in my shoulder. However, it has nothing to do with this incident. What? I was shot in the shoulder long before the DL6 incident. I claim that the bullet in my shoulder has no relation to DL6, but I have the other bullet with striations to test it. But, Mr. Von Karma, can you prove that? Prove? I have no obligation to prove anything. It is Mr. Wright here who must prove something here. What is— oh, I forgot, this is the guilty before proven innocent system. Not I, Mr. Wright. Well, can you prove it? Can you prove that the bullet in Von Karma's shoulder was from DL6? Of course he can't. You don't have any of the DL6 evidence. That's because you took it out of the records room yesterday. With no proof, you can't convict me of any crime. So sorry, Mr. Wright. Wait, so he's somehow innocent? No, I'm the one who's sorry, Mr. Von Karma. What? You were close. One day away from freedom. But you see, I have proof. What? Who would have thought you would dig your own grave trying to convict Edgeworth? I can link that bullet in your shoulder to the DL6 incident. And here's my final proof. The bullet from the heart. That's a bullet. Where did you get that? This is the bullet used in the DL6 incident. This was taken from the heart of the victim, Mr. Gregory Edgeworth. The bullet is preserved quite nicely, with all the ballistic markings intact. Ballistic markings? You may recall the term came up in the first trial 2 days ago, using the thing against everything. Ballistic markings are the fingerprints of the weapon. All bullets fired from a gun are marked with that weapon's unique pattern. By examining the markings, you can tell which weapon fired the bullet. It's quite accurate. We have 2 bullets in our possession. One, the bullet removed from Gregory Edgeworth's heart. The other, Mr. Von Karma, is the bullet buried in your shoulder. Blech. We could analyze both bullets then, if the markings matched. We would know that both bullets have been fired from the same gun. The very same pistol. In other words, the murder weapon that killed Gregory Edgeworth. Mr. Von Karma, you will let us remove the bullet from your shoulder. Then we will compare the ballistic markings to those on this bullet and solve this case once and for all. Well, Mr. Von Karma? Did he just go crazy? Is he having a heart attack? Wrong. Is he trying to say wrong? That scream. I've heard that scream before. Wait, I know. Help, I can't breathe. Quiet, I said quiet. You're not making this any easier. Stop breathing my air, I'll stop you. Stop breathing my air. Get away. Get away from my father? It's that scream I heard in the elevator. 15 years ago. Von Karma, it was you who screamed. Mr. Von Karma. Oh. Oh. Okay then. So, it was you. You and your father are my curse. Your father shamed me with a penalty on my record. And you left a scar on my shoulder that would never fade. I'll bury you. I'll bury you with my bare hands. Death. Oh my gosh. 15 years earlier. Chief Prosecutor, I am sorry. Von Karma, it's not like you to make this kind of error. I never would have thought that Edgeworth would be the one to catch you. I was careless. I'm sorry, but you will have to be penalized. I've covered for you in the past, but not this time. Edgeworth. So, he killed someone just because he got found out. It was a shock like none I've ever known. Me? Penalized? It took hours for me to regain my composure. Suddenly, I found myself in the darkness. I was in the court records room. I must have wandered in there without thinking where I was going. The room was pitch black. The lights must have gone out. I went out into the hall and felt my way to the elevator. I pressed the button, but nothing happened. Then, there was a noise. I was in pain, a horrible burning pain in my shoulder. Just then, the lights came back on. The elevator door opened before my eyes. I saw 3 people inside, all lying unconscious from oxygen deprivation. Much to my surprise, a pistol lay at my feet. I knew then, it was destiny. Really? In his last moments, Gregory Edgeworth was still unconscious. He died, never knowing who had shot him. Later, he spoke through a medium, blaming Mr. Yogi. He was fooled. It was the perfect crime. Because the last person he would have remembered fighting with was Mr. Yogi. Tusk. Who would have thought another man would have come to open that elevator door? Judge? What? What are you doing? Do your job. Bring an end to this miserable charade. Now, end it. Very well. It appears that we have come a very long way to the end of this maze. 15 years later, Mr. Miles Edgeworth, yes, Your Honor, you were innocent. You are innocent. As you said, it was all a nightmare. Yes, Your Honor. This court finds the defendant, Mr. Miles Edgeworth, not guilty. And now we take Von Karma to jail since he admitted it, and he will rot under the prison. That is all. This court is adjourned. Are we? Von Karma needs to be under the prison. Can we do that? Nick, we did it. Did you see his face? Von Karma looked even paler than usual. He's pretending to be all cool, but inside you crushed him, Nick. Crushed. Gotta say, I'm impressed. It was pretty close, though. I was sure we'd had it. I know, I was on the verge of tears the whole time myself. But now it's all just a good memory. So it's finally over, Edgeworth. Right? Yeah? I'm not sure how to say this. I know. Try thank you. I see. Maya's just so innocent. But thank you, right? You're welcome. I think you could have done better than that. Sorry, I'm not good at this sort of thing. Got a lot to learn, Edgeworth. She's got you there. Whoop. Amazing, pal. You pulled through just like I thought you would. I'll never forget this. I'll owe you one, pal. And tonight, let's party. Dinner's on me. Perfect. Yeah, my salary went down a bit this month. Aww. No. We'll pay for, well, Edgeworth will pay for it. He can, but who cares? See, Mr. Edgeworth, you should take a lesson from Detective Gumshoe. That's how you say thank you. I see. Ahem. Whoop. I feel foolish. Don't worry, take it a little at a time. You'll get used to it. It's been 15 years since I've seen Edgeworth this unguarded. Hey, y'all. Lotta. Y'all were great in there. Thank you. Yo, Edgeworth, congrats. Thank y'all very much? I knew you were innocent from the start, of course. Just look at you. You wouldn't stick your hand in the cookie jar even if no one was there. You were the witness on the first day of the trial, weren't you? Yeah, well, let bygones be bygones, eh? Speaking of which, what are you gonna do now, Lotta? Who, me? I went back to college and I gave up trying to be an investigative photographer pretty quick. Really? That's too bad. Huh? Isn't that the hot dog guy from the park? Huh? It's over, Nick. My life is over. Why the sad face, Larry? What happened now? Did your girlfriend break up with you? Oh, Nick, I'm not long for this world. You don't look sick. This Keonce, she's gone to live in Paris. Paris, Nick. She's leaving me behind. Should have seen that coming. Yo, Edgy, there you are. Yes, here I am. Congrats, Edgy. Here, a little gift from me in celebration. Celebration? That's unusual for you. Harry Butts, you come along tonight too, my treat, pal. No, make Edgeworth pay for it. Huh? Thanks. Looking forward to it. Yo, Nick. That's the suit that questioned me. When he says treat, that's not police talk for prison food, right? Right? I think it'll be fine, Larry. Right. Yeah? What's up? That envelope that Larry gave me, it's got money in it. Well, yeah. That's not that strange. People give money away to celebrate sometimes. Is it $38? It's $38, right? Huh? What a weird amount. I mean, it's not a little, but it's not a lot either. 38 exactly? Nick? Wasn't that the amount of lunch money that was stolen from Mr. Edgeworth in school? 38? No. No. Larry, it was you. What are you so surprised about, right? Huh? Larry was absent that day from school, right? But that doesn't automatically rule him out as a suspect. What? Think back to that day, 15 years ago. Larry took the day off, but he was bored, so he came into school anyways. Then he saw the money lying there, and the rest is history. I never was good at history. Edgeworth, you didn't know, did you? I suspected. I just couldn't picture Larry protecting you like he did that day. Everyone else was saying you did it. The whole class was against you, remember? Yeah, too well. Right? You may not know this, but we used to have a saying back in school. When something smells, it's usually the butts. I know. Really, right? I'm surprised you didn't figure it out. Well, this sure is an unexpected turn of events, eh? Edgeworth? You should have told me. Now, Nick, it was 15 years ago. Don't you think the statute of limitations has run out, Mr. Edgeworth? I say so, yes. Oh, you think you're so funny, Edgeworth. There you have it. Where does that leave me? I became a defense attorney because of what you two did. Well, I've always been something of an insufferable emotionalist. Yeah, and you get worked up too easily, too. Death? A death sentence for both of you. Man, if only I'd known, I'd become a prosecutor. The same goes for me, only the other way around. For the longest time, I thought I might have killed my own father. I thought I might be a criminal. I became a prosecutor in part to punish myself. If I had known the truth, I might have become a defense attorney after all. Edgeworth, wanna switch, right? Hey, y'all. Line up, I'll take a photo. Hey, photo time, let's go. And after that, dinner on me, nose on Edgeworth. It's my headcanon that Edgeworth slipped in and bought food. Detective Gumshoe took us out on the town that night. We celebrated Edgeworth's newfound freedom, even though Edgeworth himself was still in detention. Really? He wasn't there? December 29, 5:02 a.m. Uh-oh. Whoa, I went a little overboard yesterday. My head hurts. Huh? Still only 5? Maybe I should go back to sleep. What's this? A letter? Good morning, Nick. You were really impressive yesterday. Seeing you, it made me think about what I'm doing here. I'm a spirit medium, in training, of course. I wanted to help Mr. Edgeworth, too. I wanted to help you, but I couldn't. I was useless. So I've decided to go back to my training. I'll become a full-fledged spirit medium, for starters. I couldn't say it to your face, so I left this letter. Goodbye, Nick. Goodbye? What time is it? Gah. The first train for the mountains already left. To the station. Ooh, this is a pretty train station. I guess I'm too late. Hey. Nick? Maya. So, you're leaving? Yeah. It's hard being a spirit medium who can't talk to spirits. And I think you'll do fine without me, Nick. Be good, okay? Wait. Are you finally going to tell her that she has been communicating, please? I never could have saved Edgeworth without your help. Huh? On the last day of the trial, I heard her. I heard Mia's voice. You heard my sister? Yes. Only her voice, but still. It was at the very end when I thought we lost everything. Well, that's my sister for you. Detective Gumshoe helped, and Mr. Grossberg, and even Larry. I'm the only one who couldn't help. I was useless, Nick. But you were the one who stopped Von Karma, Maya. Huh? I didn't do anything. All I did was wander around in a daze. Sorry, but I have evidence that you helped. Evidence? Show Maya some evidence to cheer her up. Is it the fact that only she could talk to Polly? Huh? Sorry, Nick. I guess I don't understand that. Oh, now that I think about it, I don't understand this evidence either. It's okay. You don't have to try and trip me up. But one day I'll come back and be useful, I promise. So, this is it. See you soon, Maya. Oh, bye-bye. Thanks, Nick. She's such a sweetheart. And so my story ends. Time to turn a new page. And say goodbye to the novice defense attorney that I once was. Now a new story begins. With the same old crazy cast of characters. Ha, don't think you've graduated yet, amateur. Mr. Wright, perhaps you'd like to rethink that claim? Yes, Your Honor. Uh-oh, got a bad feeling about this. Is it over? Hey, pal. Mr. Edgeworth came down to the precinct to wish me a happy new year. Talk about a pleasant surprise. Whoop, Detective Gumshoe. Then he hung his head low and went right back outside. Kind of like he was embarrassed or something. Strange, huh? Or are we also having like after credits rolling? Like credit scenes? Huh? Nick. Nah, I haven't seen him lately. Who, me? I've been working at a cheese shop. That Missy's a nice lady, but she's not exactly what you call a cheap date, huh? Oh, she's in Hawaii right now. Yeah. Yeah. You happen to always date people, but who just disappear to a random thing. Who, right? Yeah, I remember him. I hear he's been busy lately. You know, not to ring my own bell, but I sort of taught him everything he knows. I'm sure he's grateful. What is the first prosecutor he dealt with? That's the only thing I could come up with. You did jack squat. Phoenix Wright? The defense attorney for whom I wrote that affidavit for, yes. Oh, you should know. I've taken over management of the Gatewater Hotel recently. Shouldn't you be in the area? Should you be in the area, please stop by. Like, do we also get to talk to the people we put in jail? That'd be interesting. Ahem. Oh, it's you. Phoenix Wright. Yes, Mia's understudy, was he not? Wonder how he's doing. Haven't seen him of late. The days of my youth. Like the scent of fresh lemon. You see? Like, who am I talking as? That's my question. Phoenix Wright. Is he an actor? Well, I'm not buying it. You can't be a star with a name like Phoenix. Did you know they were putting the DVD the thingies? Now that I know what a DVD is, everything these days, ma'am. I had no clue what she said. She's probably going on and on about her love of what's-its-face. I'm pleased to announce that The Pink Princess is a hit. I sure owe that Mr. Wright a great deal. Oh, and I'm keeping my face out of the public eye till the show's over. I wouldn't want to ruin any kid's dreams, you know? That's still, like, really sad. Because you could be, like, a Wolverine-type character. It's like, everyone loves Wolverine, even though he's really gruff-looking. Oh, I got a letter from Maya the other day. Sounds like she caught a cold standing under a waterfall. I wanted to visit, but didn't have time, so I sent her some Pink Princess trading cards. She says she can't buy them where she is. What kind of place is she living at anyway? Aiko Temple, probably in the middle of the woods. I think that's what it is. Right? Who's that? You want to talk? Let's talk about Pink Princess, alright? But, you know, I snuck into the studio the other day, and I saw her, the one inside the Pink Princess suit. Ugh, what a dog. It's kind of a shock for a boy my tender age. Was it our Wolverine friend, or what? Yeah, I remember right. That lawyer guy. Huh? Me? I'm in training to become a paranormal photographer. You know that picture I took of everyone? Well, just behind them there's a ghost. For real. Now that's talent. I'm going to be famous. Where did you see this ghost? It was fog. There is no way you're going to be able to say it was a ghost. See, that's what a ghost looks like. Oh my gosh, Wright looks so uncomfortable in that picture. Capcom. Yay. I hold it. What? A brand new episode has been added. I thought there was 5 episodes. I was a bit confused with the end credits, I will admit. Yes, I will save. I'm gonna put it here. Okay, so the next time we will do this last case, Rise from the Ashes, that I don't know if that's a play on Phoenix Wright and the supposed ending that we just had with like the credits, or it has something to do with Mia. I'm kind of hoping both, but that case was a roller coaster ride, and now I'm off of it and need to decompress from all that craziness. So I will see you next time when we work on case 5. And until then, I don't know. Until then, we'll do something else. I don't know.